average. I'm sick of being mortal, I'm about to be a savage. I see a lot of things that I want, I will have them. I got a new mindset that I just established. I'll march through the cold with the nails on the pavement. I'll shovel that coal just to get out the basement. My story will be told, helping others make changes. I'll be so bold, they will watch in amazement. Am I gonna face it? Am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna start over? I keep waiting. Time is limited, quickly fading. Get my mind right, it's my time to take it. Am I gonna face it? Am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna...
Hi Patrick, welcome to BulldogMatt's Healthy Masculinity. For today, we don't really have any specific agenda. We have not agreed on anything. So I just wanted to come to my channel and have a discussion, sort of like totally free. So without limitations.
We'll get them to pay later on at a date.
I will try to avoid certain topics, but I just don't want to get shadow banned.
No. The thing is, I think the more outspoken you are, the more you shine. I think in reality, you need people that have this. So I'm one of these people that's on the fence. But I hate double standards. I love to hear people's viewpoints because I learn from people. So it's very much a nurturing and nourishing thing to hear people say certain things that's very unique and kind of mesmerizing for my mind to sort of listen to. I'm all ears. Whatever you want to fly my way, I'm all ears.
Awesome. Yeah. No, it's usually as part of my self-development journey, or it's also therapy, I've decided to go on a mental diet, if you like. And part of that mental diet is I tuned off of politics.
Great decision. No, do you know what? That's an intelligent move.
Simply because I just always got frustrated, and then I realized that it's outside my circle of influence. I do have core values. They're very sort of like engraved and consistent, so it's not going to change. It's based on principles. I'm not married to any party, any side or whatever. I always judge everything through the lenses of my own moral compass and my own political beliefs and other beliefs. So as long as something moves towards the direction of more freedom and more happiness and whatever, even if it is not perfect, I'm happy with it, and I don't care if it is implemented by one side or the other, which is the long and short of it. And I reserve the right to be wrong. So
you want to be wrong. Like if I was saying things all the time and I was right, I was like, hang on a minute, there's something not right here. Like I need to be wrong. So, someone say something that I'm stumped on.
One topic that I will walk into sort of like a religious war is nutrition, because I'm passionate about it. That is actually one topic where I have changed my mind 4 times in the last 15 years.
I've changed 2. I've changed again.
No, it's just big changes. Simply because I was presented with more data, more analysis. I tried different things out. And I was like, okay, I was wrong. Not completely wrong, but wrong. Do you want to talk about nutrition and diet and...
Oh, I want to talk about anything and everything. I mean,
okay.
I'm completely open-minded to anything and everything. There's subjectivity and there's objectivity, and they are parallel with each other, and it's important to embrace both aspects of philosophy. So I think nutrition's up there for me. Science is definitely up there. Philosophy, I'm majorly competent and good at. I love philosophy. Anyone that's good at philosophy understands that philosophy is the art of talking garbage, because it's really true. I mean, if you've got an abstract imagination, if you're a bit wacky, a bit eccentric like me, hey ho, hey presto, you're catered for, sort of like talking about nonsense and stuff like that. But remember, I think the thing is, it's really that kind of like a spectrum where in one sense, you'll talk about something that is of the senses, is essential, and then in the other sense, it may not make any sense. But what we do know, we have this tool called language, which we use to express, and we also have this other thing, which is kind of really not, it's kind of sort of not really tangible with language, called art. And art can be anything. Art can be abstract. Art can be an expression of an abstract or a concrete kind of methodology. And so I think that in regards to that, it's very important to embrace and understand both of those aspects of things, because in one hand we have scientific thought and stuff like that, and then in the other hand we have this concrete world, this artistic world in which we live in, which, you know, I'll summarize it really like this. I mean, it's quite interesting to say that Einstein's theory of relativity, I know we're delving into physics here and we won't necessarily delve entirely into physics, but a lot of people forget that Einstein's theory of relativity wasn't conjured up from necessarily mathematical equations or science. Actually, he thought about it. That's and it blows every casket in my mind to think a human being with that capability existed. To think of something so profound that revolutionized science. And hey, there you had him. And he was at a train station, and a train was passing by him, and that's how it all unfolded.
I sort of can relate to it, but I'm not intelligent enough to, or arrogant.
You shouldn't. I mean, that's a big hurdle and a mistake a lot of people make. It's the same with maths. People always say the same thing. They go, "I'm useless at maths," but I give them the solid. The solid answer. No,
that's not.
In numbers. We're not talking in numbers. We're talking with words.
Yeah, but that's not what I meant. So I have studied something which, at least in Hungary, is classified as advanced mathematics.
Yeah.
I love math. I love statistics. I work in IT, have been working in IT, and I think math is basically the purest language. That's the common language.
Absolutely.
And worldwide, because if I write down an equation or a function, irrespective of where you were born, even if we don't speak the same language, we will speak mathematics. So I'm not, I don't think that I'm stupid. It's just I grew up next to someone who was an actual genius. And his father was a mathematician. Now, that's advanced mathematics, what you learn in college or even in university. I would hazard even in engineering. So I think it's just higher level or intermediate level mathematics. That there's a level above that where it sort of slips into philosophy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's a very impressive answer you've given me there, Matty. I mean, it really is, and the reason is because if you looked at, for example, Aristotle, I think it was Aristotle. Yeah, it was Aristotle actually. People don't realise that Aristotle was deemed the first scientist. I mean, he was doing dissections on fish on the seashores, and I'm trying to understand what was going on the inside, rather than just spectacling on the outside, spectating on the outside, and thinking, well, there's more to this than meets the eye. And I mean, that's really in a nutshell what quantum physics is. If you think about quantification or quantifying things, you're making it smaller to see the bigger picture. And so that's what it is. I mean, it's the same principle with magnitudes. Like if you look at how we're using these, I mean, I've been on my Facebook, you'll see I've been day in and day out posting pictures of what the Hubble telescope has been taking. You know, because I absolutely think the stars are the most aesthetic and beautiful thing I've ever seen. I just love them, and really what they're doing is they're using high powered telescopes to look into the far distance and reaches where light's travelling at us. So it's that is another way to sort of express it. It's at a far distance, right? So it's principally quantified. It's a smaller depiction of something that's vast. So to say that atoms are small isn't always right. They are vast because they are everywhere. So it depends on how you can perceive the world and not necessarily adhere to everything in a concrete fashion. You've got to have the capability to dissect things and have them expressed in an abstract way and in a viewpoint. And that's what you just said there. That's why philosophy and science are brothers or sisters, or however you want to say it. They go hand in hand. I mean, you can delve into science philosophically, and you can delve into philosophy scientifically. You know?
It's sort of the reason I find it funny, and thanks a lot for introducing this concept to me, because I grew up as a Catholic, but I did not have. When you're a child and you receive it sort of like as a doctrine, and it was expected of you, you don't necessarily even comprehend what the hell are you learning. And okay, we're praying and then study the Bible, and there are customs, but somewhere along the way, I wouldn't say I've lost faith, but I just wasn't sure anymore. And then I tried to. I have a relatively defined morality, or I would say objective morality, with shades of gray, not.
Are you really him in the book? I was reading that. I was wondering. Oh no, it's Christian something, but it's okay. We'll just substitute his name with you. 50 Shades of Matty. Yeah.
No, what I meant by that is I really like the quote from Star Wars that only a Sith would think in extremes, in binaries.
Yes, yes. Great word. Love that word.
And I sort of almost lost my faith, and I started trying to be a good man and trying to believe.
Yeah.
And then my marriage broke down. We tried again. I went back. I started studying a little bit of psychology because of my own therapy and interest, and I became a little bit more spiritual. And it led me back to faith, but at the same time, because now as an adult I understand teachings and the scripture, or have an understanding or my interpretation of it, if you like, I fell out.
Which is unique to you, which is very unique to you, and that's what you have to remember. It's not everyone trying to influence you. Your thought is beautiful because it's of you, and you have every right and entitlement to your thought without any other external influence.
No, I totally agree, and I got to a point where if I disagree with someone on something, unless I have an almost mathematical way to prove something is true or untrue, I'm like, okay, we just have to agree to disagree. I don't necessarily, the moment I start feeling emotional about it, I try to check myself, because the reason I
Am I sane still? Am I? Hang on, no, I'm insane. I'm going to have to go down to the doctor's appointment now.
No, it's more like with nutrition and politics, and especially online in social media, people are really I'm generalizing here, but we as human species, more like, we're very tribal. And I read a study somewhere that it was conducted in the US, and in the US I think everything is magnified, so it's a little bit of the extreme. And
they talk crap a lot out there. We know that. There's a lot of people that talk crap everywhere. I've talked crap before, so I'm very associated with that.
So the study was conducted about left and right wing, or Democrat and Republican, because basically those are the two major parties, core beliefs. And at the first part of the study, they just identified, I don't know, 500 members of self-identified Democrats, 500 self-identified Republicans. then they weighed how strongly they correlate their association with the party.
Yes. Yeah.
Then
That's a question. Yeah.
again, it was self-reported on a scale of 1 to 10. How strongly do you support your party? How much?
Yeah.
And then they listed X amount of core beliefs, or I don't want to say propaganda, but
Go on, say it. Just say it, Matty.
Disputed by one side or the other.
Yeah.
And then they checked again, it's self-reported by the same population. How much do you believe it's to be true?
Yeah.
And on average, they were like 5, 6, 7 on a scale of 0 to 10. As a next step, they presented the group with evidence.
We need the evidence.
Almost scientific evidence, but evidence that proves their group's thinking untrue.
Now that's a kick in the teeth, yeah.
Then they measured their responses again. Everybody thought that they would wobble, but the polar opposite happened, and their association with believing that their side's truth is the truth went up.
That's crazy. Yeah. Well,
it is crazy, but that's how tribal we are.
Yeah.
Because, and at that point I was like, all right, politics is just not rational.
No. Well, no, of course not. It's not. I mean, so just 3 things there. One, you said about the word wobble. I mean, that's great. I wobble a lot. I mean, I've got a lot of lard on me at the moment, so I won't be wobbling too much in the near future because I'm losing weight. That's a great thing. But just getting back, I think the reason why that happens is there's possibly 2 factors to why, and I think one of them is because they are just wolves in sheep's clothing. A lot of these people, and politics draws in. It does. I mean, politics is a playground for the most manipulative, conniving, and intelligent psychopaths on planet Earth. I mean, really, that's what it is, and it's very easy for them to acclimate and climb to the top of the ladder to get to the top tier ranking, to be at the top of the hierarchy. No problem. They do it. They do it actually in their sleep. You could sleep being a psychopath. That's so conniving, and get there in the long run. But also, I think people are drawn to things that are opposites. So how we have magnets and stuff, right? So people, and that's obviously within the realm of physics, but within the realm of politics, I think it affects people so much that whether it's a conscious thing or an unconscious thing, people are drawn to things that are opposites to them because people are curious also. People want to learn about certain things. But I think with things like that, it's also a learning ground. So where you're saying about how people who are politically thinking, it's tiring, you're always going to have that difference, which people who perceive it on the outside see. It is. We're very tired of people that are trying to assert their power and their dominance and have their principles over us, and we then clash against them because we disagree. I mean, that's the whole principle of society.
If you ask me, we're not tired enough because I did not want to.
It will happen soon. For sure.
I did not want to announce it, but what the heck? I said it a couple of times before. I'm a classical liberal, and what it means is I like a quote from Lord Acton, I think. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, which is why narcissists and...
Would he say that towards God, though? Would he actually say that to God? Because God might disagree with him. If he poses that question to the high, true creator of everything that is conceivable, I mean, there might be a bit of difference. Actually, I'm obviously being exaggerated there, but I think that it's important that you, as a person, will disagree to me. I think the learning ground is that we've got to have that contention. You've got to have that thing where people disagree. It's important to get kicked in the teeth. I, as an adult, as a full-grown adult, realise my age now at 38 compared to who I was when I was 15. I was completely naive, impressionable, and gullible. And that, I mean, I was very rebellious as a teenager, but that came
That makes the two of us, and I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I mean, we watched The Matrix. You know, we had to become rebels. We knew that Zion had to be, you know, our savior and stuff like that. But I think it's important that you, as you get older, I notice there's one thing that's happened to me in my life as I've got older is. And I know that we're kind of sort of changing topics a lot going on here, and people are kind of wondering why. But it's great to have that roller coaster of thought and talk about different things because it is philosophy. Philosophy is wisdom. Wisdom is power. But I think that as I've got older, humility is the word that I've realised makes the most sense in my life because I'm humbled enough, and I can be humbled even more as I get older and progress on this journey. That I will learn from people that are far more superior to me as an individual in so many different fields, and I get so impressed by people, and I really do. I look at people and I go, "You are so good at that. I'm so jealous, and I wish I was good like that. You know, I wish I could do what they can do." And I just sit there or I stand there in awe. And I think as you are a humbled individual, you are more open and succinct to learning and empowering your thought and knowledge. That means that your knowledge that you develop as a person, you can either use, as again, getting back to the word which you said earlier, the moral, or set of words, the moral high code in which you live your life. You can, and it really boils down to that polarity. Do I use my knowledge or my power to be a good person, or do I use my knowledge and that polarity to be a bad person? They are juxtaposed, they coexist. We understand that. We know that there are factors within physics, within science, within mathematics, within spiritualism, within religion, within politics even, that are polar opposites that work together. And it's represented by the Chinese in their Taoist philosophy, which is the yin and yang symbol.
Yep.
It is the most powerful symbol I think I've ever seen because it really encapsulates what reality is. Light, darkness, male, female,
in
opposites.
Psychology, especially in Jung's work, the shadow, golden shadow, and there are a lot of polarities, and the same symbolism can be found there. There was one thing I wanted to say, which is my problem is that because I see the entire system as potentially corrupting, based on that quote from Lord Acton, I'm against any type of centralization of power because I just think it will attract the wrong kind of attention from narcissists, from psychopaths, from sycophants, and because they want to wield that power. And so I want to just take it down.
Yeah. You know? Yeah.
Yeah, I want to bring it down and just let people negotiate with each other and live with each other and minimize any central authority.
Yeah. Well, you see it. I mean, you see that depicted in films. I mean, look at Star Wars. What's Star Wars doing? You know, you've got this hero, this young man who's a hero, who ironically is the son of the antagonist of the film. So he's the protagonist, he's the hero, and his father's the evil villain. So which is a kick in the teeth, obviously, because it's his dad. But it shows that it will always exist like that. But again, with that film, which it unravels at the end, I'm spoiling it now for people. Darth Vader, it's pretty obvious that most people have seen the film, you know. But Darth Vader is actually deep down a good person. So it then begs the question: well, good people can be evil. You know, that's the beauty of it. It's kind of like, well, we can have a very heroic good person with good deeds and a good moral code, and they can then wane and change and become a villainous entity, someone that is corrupt and stuff like this. So it's the power, which you said there, which is the answer. It's the power that draws in that evil, the power which draws in that good. It's appealing. It's the very thing between good and bad. It's the
That's the
neutrality,
magnet.
isn't it? The neutral part. Yeah, what it is. and it will always exist. Evilness will always exist, and so will
I
goodness.
agree. I would probably try to debate you on whether Darth Vader was good or bad, or in general, I think religion views us humans as gullible and capable of infinite good and infinite evil.
You've just sussed on. You've just sussed it, Matty.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's happened for millennia. It's always going to happen. It's there.
But even I know myself, I have my own shadow, but on top of that, I have my psychiatrist doesn't like me when I characterize it that way, but I have a beast or a demon that is psychopathic. And I just, to the extent...
You haven't shown me him yet. I need to see him. Bring him out.
Please don't. No, because it's within my moral compass. So should something threaten or try to harm my nuclear family, I'm capable of doing really unspeakable things.
Yeah.
And I would sleep like a baby. And so it's not that... But in general, I try to be an empathetic, kind, understanding person.
Yeah.
It's just that there's a boundary, and behind that, I no longer have any kind of constraints, because they say that in love and in war, there are no rules and anything is possible.
As a person that's had many conversations with you, there is definitely a chemistry between us. I mean, otherwise we wouldn't really sort of necessarily get on. We wouldn't be here. So it's interesting to perceive you as a person, to understand you more, and see that. But the thing is, you have to understand is that the more conscious and the more you empower that negative side to you, the thing that you probably hate the most, which we all have our inner demons.
I don't even hate it. Sorry for interrupting you, but
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I don't. Yeah. I don't hate that side of me. I accepted it, and I think it's, to some extent, it's useful, because.
Great answer. Yes. Good. That's what I was waiting for you to say. I literally waited for you to say, "That's right. That's right."
Because there were times, and I probably need to pull myself together and prepare a bit more to share it in public. But there were times when I had to use it, and
don't release them like they did in The Exorcist. We're not going to go down that road.
No.
Pazuzu getting released, and everyone's like,
no, it's just ultimately the outcome was so that I averted or prevented something even worse from happening. And I'm not the end justifies the means person. So that's why it's a little bit difficult, because the moment you're back to your conscious or your best self or your conscious mind, and then you have all this super ego and moral compass and the constraints and start analyzing, it's not right, it's but under certain circumstances it is necessary.
Do you know why that is?
No.
Do you want me to tell you why that is?
Yes, please.
Okay. As humans, we go through phases, patches of thought, and whether that's to deal with things, to use it as a tool, as we say within, I guess in the psychology world, they probably say it as a coping mechanism to deal with things. What what you're doing is you're embracing something that's part of you, and then you're embracing something else that's part of you. And what you're doing is you're analyzing both of those things and seeing them shift. But the shifting doesn't matter. It's the fact that they coexist. It doesn't matter if one moves higher than the other, and vice versa. What happens is they both exist juxtaposed to each other. So what happens is, it's a bit like how we go through, I used to go through a thing called seasonal affective disorder, where my mood would be so low. And actually I had reverse seasonal affective disorder, where I had it that it was in, instead of winter, it happened in, for example, I think summer or something like that. Because I'm a winter baby. I love winter. I love autumn and stuff like that. That's my season. Because for me, it's a time to think. But your dopamine levels significantly drop, and we all know that hormones play a fundamental role in our behavior.
I have already recorded an episode because it's part of my framework. Breaking down the neurotransmitters.
It is.
So,
it really is.
Yeah, absolutely. The reason I'm absolutely fascinated with human physiology is because it gave me a different language to describe something. There are attachment styles, for example, in psychology. Secure, anxious, preoccupied, dismissive, avoidant, and then there are variations and scales of the mix of the two, fearful, avoidant, or disorganized.
Yes. Yeah.
And psychology associates these attachment styles to certain behavioral patterns. But the moment you start analyzing it from a neurological perspective, you can almost tie it down to, the anxious, preoccupied part of the yin and yang, because they are attracted to each other with the dismissive avoidant, which is why it's a very funny dynamic. Their oxytocin bonding requires closeness, and they are the balance between oxytocin, GABA, and dopamine is heavily biased towards oxytocin. And they have a...
Which makes sense.
And they have a problem. I was that. And they have a problem with generating that oxytocin for themselves, which is why they can't soothe themselves.
Yeah.
On the polar end of this, the dismissive avoidant, and when people who are outside of psychology and just observing it, they tend to demonize dismissive avoidance because they only see a behavioral pattern, and there's no understanding that in the case of a dismissive avoidant, because of how they were probably abused in childhood, anxious attachers were abused usually during childhood too, just in a different way. They, out of all the neurotransmitters or stress regulating hormones, vasopressin, oxytocin, serotonin, they are heavily dependent on dopamine. And the rest is so downregulated, antagonized, that they have a hard time. Plus, their neurowiring acts so that for oxytocin, it almost provokes an allergic reaction. Because the moment...
That's a great metaphor.
And because the moment when they were little and try to create an oxytocin bonding, which is absolutely natural for an infant with their parents, they were punished for it. So the brain wiring became so that this is danger.
Yes.
But on a conscious level, despite all this neurowiring, these polar opposite insecure attachment styles are like magnets to one another. And it's the reason I mentioned this and why I'm so fascinated about it is I had to go through some sort of a hell because when I walked out from that relationship with my dismissive avoidant partner, I was still in love with her. And to to sort of give you an idea of how it feels like is it felt like as if I was actively and consciously walking towards a bridge with something tied into my chest and I'm just pulling it out. Extremely painful. I did it anyway because it was more risky and more painful to stay. But once that, once I calmed my own central nervous system down and was able to view this from 1,000 feet, all of a sudden, I'm not judgmental to either side. I just understand what's going on, and it's
it's. I think that it begs the question that what is it? It's a bit like I think it was The Matrix that said this. It's I think it was a quote from the film because I can't remember what it was, but basically it's you're self-reflecting and seeing your behavior, but you're seeing something that's happening that you're not in control of because it's an automation of your personality. So it's a part of your brain which does it for you, and that's I think the bigger sort of picture of what's happening. It's where we have all of these parts of the actual brain itself that deal and respond to certain functions that we experience. So, for example, deep set memories are contained within a part of the brain called the amygdala, which is an almond-shaped portion of the brain, and then you have the frontal lobe, which
contains our superego,
coordination, and stuff like that. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
Among other things, the frontal lobe is responsible for risk management and hazard perception. There's a reason, and insurance companies use this science. The reason your premium drops at the age of 25 is that's when the frontal lobe matures.
We needed to immature.
No, because you could observe teenagers. The riskiest part of our life is between the age of 16 and 25. Hormonal changes, a lot of dopamine drive, because as the testosterone goes up, so it upregulates dopamine receptors as well, upregulates this drive. What is dopamine? Dopamine is, I'm trying to draw an abstract picture, but dopamine is chasing that what is unknown, unfamiliar, risky. Because it requires novelty. So in chimpanzees, when they see a banana, chasing the banana triggers their dopamine. No, seriously, it triggers their dopamine response. But the moment they get the banana, that dopamine secretion goes down.
I'm just hearing the noises that these monkeys are making. And just grabbing the banana and eating it. That's all I'm hearing and seeing. It does happen. 16 to 25, you actually see the youngsters are so impressionable and so naive and so gullible and so adventurous and so intrigued about the world around them. It's great. But you notice also what I don't want to delve into this because I like the theme of which we're talking. That's the age bracket of all of these people that enlist in the army. You know, you either have conscription or you have these youngsters that are so impressionable. They don't know any other. So that's why they are the best target to bring into an army and train them, and then for them to become trained soldiers, and then to work off from there. So I love how you are correlating and connecting the psychology with the behavior, with the science, with what's going on and stuff like that. And yes, I agree. I totally agree with the impressions that youngsters may have, and they're very brittle. So with their brains at that age, they are the easiest to indoctrinate. As well.
Yeah.
You can say anything, and they will agree, which is dangerous. It's extremely dangerous. Nothing's more dangerous than danger, which is more dangerous than knowledge. Like, you know, it can be misused. So yeah, it's if you can incorporate skepticism, and you can be dubious about everything that you know, a good example of being skeptical is looking when you're crossing the road. I'm looking at a car coming from my left. I'm looking at a car coming from my right. When do I make that choice to cross that road? I'm skeptical. I'm automatically skeptical. It's not my choice to be skeptical. I'm skeptical because I'm not assured that I can cross that road without being reassured.
You also did fighting, and what it sort of does to your neurology is, in the sense of danger, your senses are more alert, and as a result of that, you check both ways, because your vision is not like here, but here.
Yeah,
it broadens your
your
vision. It's absolutely fascinating. The reason I got so not worked up, but I got so excited, is because the entire framework this channel is about is basically me connecting the dots in hindsight and analyzing myself, and then creating that framework. Because it's like, the moment I realized what was going on in my childhood and reverse engineered from there, okay, what was going on. And because I was journaling, there was a lot of data, and I could label things. And because I love statistics, because I work in IT and I'm fascinated with this, I was like,
it's hey presto, yeah.
And I got a eureka moment, because at that moment everything just clicked together. Because ultimately what I was doing instinctively is trying to deal with narcissistic abuse without knowing what it is, without knowing that I was a victim of it. And I got fascinated with nutrition. Why? Because if you don't have certain foods in your diet, neurotransmitters, I will detail them in a presentation, they potentiate each other. So there's a cascading effect. But if you are lacking certain nutrients, micronutrients,
you go haywire.
they will.
You do, yeah.
I was chasing serotonin because oxytocin wasn't available for me. I did not even know what that was back then, right?
Yeah.
But I was like, no, let's do martial arts. And I was scraping the bottom of that barrel to get a little bit of serotonin, because in absence of oxytocin and with a repressed ego, lower dopamine, you do need something, otherwise you won't be able to deal with stress.
Oh wow, you got me there, because all right, so I'll give you an example here. So during lockdown, it's a great example to sort of use as an example that we all felt crushed, right? We all felt crushed, and they did a very good job at crushing us, but not destroying us. But anyway, I felt very low. I actually went down to 87 kilo body weight, and I was eating 1 meal a day for 10 months.
With your height, that's my goodness.
It's for my frame, because I've got very long like clavicles. I'm very wide.
And you're not 5'7" on a good day like me, so.
Well, I mean, you look fantastic. You know, you've got a great physique. I mean,
Thank
but
you.
but it's, you know, we all have imperfections and we all have to embrace them. But I think that the fact of the matter is that I felt so low. My dopamine was so low that I was questioning. Do I just want to continue? Do I want to continue in the midst of all of this disarray and the mayhem and the feelings of despair? Yes, I will, because I am a warrior, and I am a warrior because I know I am. I'm an Aries. I mean, I was born in April. I'm an Aries. I was born in the presence of Mars, and we are fire. And with fire, it roars and it roars and it engulfs anything and everything in its midst. So for me to remind myself that that's my duty as a person, I have to continue my occupation of being a warrior and fight through the flames with my own flames, and say to myself, I'm not going to let anything beat me. Even if I felt the lowest of the low, I'm going to keep my chin up and I'm going to fight through it, because that will debilitate me. And I don't recognize the word debilitation. I don't experience it. I don't embrace it. I will kind of detach myself from those feelings that regulate my mind, which may impair me to some extent, but they will not impair me to the point that they kill me. What will kill me will kill me. That's separate. Whether it's a heart attack, whether I fall over and hit my head, whether I die an old man. But that's the thing that you have to remind yourself. And I tell people this constantly. Think of a rainbow. What is at the other end of the rainbow? There's light, there's gold, there's happiness, there's everything. Well, gold it's basically the same, isn't it? But I always use a rainbow as an example because I think it symbolises happiness. And I think that colours are one of those things. I love colours. I think colours bring out so much vibrance and happiness that people should incorporate them, whether they're drawing, whether they're looking at them, whether they're going into a garden and looking at flowers and stuff like this. It's very important to look at the human and the hormonal factors that govern who you are as a person. So I think that I thought back then, I'm not going to let this thing get to me. I'm going to rise up, you know, whether it's through the ashes and just keep going. I'm not going to let anything kill me or destroy me, because I don't recognize it. But that feeling existed where I felt terrible. I felt in absolute despair. As a full-grown man, maybe tearing up, you know, releasing pent-up energy is a good thing. But it wasn't the solution. Those are temporary little fixes. You want the big absolute solution to things. And that, again, is the illusion that humans experience. Yes, in one sense, it's the hormones that regulate your behavior. And that's through nutrition, of course. So eating phytonutrients, which I adhere to and I will always convey to people. Eating kale, broccoli, asparagus, and phytonutrients that are empowering. Nuts, again, are another thing that I convey to people. Eat nuts. Macadamia nuts are fantastic. Walnuts, cashews, and stuff like this. And again, with meats, eat fattier bits of meat. Don't eat lean meats. I always say eat meat that contains fat on it, and stuff like this. But I won't ever. I'll tell people this is what I categorically think helps me. And so when I compare incidences that aren't just with myself to other people, I see that there is a theme, a correlated theme. People that eat these kinds of foods better off. And again, just getting back to what you were saying earlier, when you were saying people are deficient in certain things, that's a great thing, because people need to go and get blood tests. Go and get a blood test. Go and get your blood work seen. You could be anemic. You could be low on iron. That's another thing a lot of people experience: low iron levels. And don't take tablets. Get your iron through iron-rich foods. Eat iron-rich foods. You have to eat iron-rich foods. And vitamin D. Because we're in a northern hemisphere, more in the Western countries, there is a substantial amount of people that are deficient in vitamin D. You know, yes, maybe the pills can help to an extent, but they're not like ripe sunlight.
No, and
or certain foods that have a lot of vitamin
there's
D.
also
You know?
there's also a difference. So if you, even if it's just a little bit of sunshine, But if you consciously practice mindfulness, go to nature, expose yourself to sunlight, vitamin D production goes up a little bit. But what also happens is that you start secreting a little bit of oxytocin, a little bit of serotonin, a little bit of dopamine.
Right, yeah.
And because I said there's a sort of like a cascading effect, or it's a chain. If you eat in regulation or moderation just a bit of dark chocolate,
I love how you said that. I'm so happy you said that. I know what you're going to say.
It gives you that little bit of dopamine, but
yes,
you do these things all together, all of a sudden your mood changes big time, because all the neurotransmitters, they potentiate each other. And the problem with imbalances is sometimes people say, usually the reason I have a little bit of a problem when someone starts talking about nutrition in absolutes. I'm a vegan and that's the holy grail and blah, blah, blah. I'm a carnivore and that's the holy grail.
Yeah.
And
you notice that thing.
I'm like, because I've been just self-studying or researching this stuff in the last 20 years and connected it with my limited knowledge of neuroscience and psychology and training. I'm like, okay, so what nutritional intervention in what population under what circumstances to achieve what goal? Because unless you define all of these, I can't say that's the holy grail. That's what everybody should do. I do apologize, but we only have 10 minutes left, because after that I'll need to go. But I'm absolutely fascinated. I love that.
On my iPad, I keep looking at it and going, oh, it's dying. But just to corroborate on what you were saying there, I think it's that's an interesting thing, because I believe there's also subcategories, or probably this is the worst word to use. There are different versions, or there are different types of vitamin D. I think you get D1, D2, D3. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. So I need to do my research more on that. I actually take B complex pills every day. So usually what I do, for my routine, I'll take collagen every other day.
That's a good one.
But every day I'll take B1 vitamins, B1 complex vitamins, vitamins. And then I will also take cod liver oil every other day.
That's also a very good one, because the omega-3 and omega-6 balance is restored. It's very difficult to find the balance nutritionally. I can't do it right now because I'm cutting. And once you get to a point where there's only so much you can cut in calories, and there's only so much you can expand on the energy expenditure. This is the time, the last 6 weeks of my diet, 7, sorry, probably just 6, because I don't want to diet the last week before the show. When something has to give, you can no longer keep everything in balance.
Well, you're very low in glycogen. Your glycogen depleted towards the end. You will then just creep up your glycogen slightly, just fill out, replenish the muscles and liver.
I actually had I was butting heads with my coach, personal trainer, and I told him, no, I want to lower protein. It was like, and I was like, show me any study that shows I need more than 1 gram per 1 pound of body weight.
It's 0.5 grams per pound of body weight.
I was like, I want to keep the carbs as high as humanly possible for as long as humanly possible, because carbs themselves are muscle sparing, they're protein sparing. But if you emptied glycogen stores, then your liver secretes the emergency reserves from fructose after that, even if you eat enough protein, the gluconeogenesis will actually go after your muscles. So, plus the other side of it is that if you get defleated because you cut all the carbs out, then simply because of physics, because the viscosity of the muscle goes down, because 1 gram of glycogen retains, I think, 4 grams of water. So
I've heard of that. I think
you get rid of all this water, then simply just by the laws of physics, you can't contract the muscle to generate the same tension and force than when its viscosity is higher. And therefore you can't move that much weight. If you can't move that much weight, you cannot challenge the muscles to the same extent. If you can't challenge it, then you don't need it that much. If you don't need it that much, it's that more likely in a caloric deficit state.
If you don't need it that much and you don't need it after that, and then you don't need it a bit more, and then maybe after that you don't need it, you probably turn vegan.
No, I will never. But but you see where I'm going with this. So it's not. The reason I love this stuff is because the moment you sort of connect the dots and understand holistically how complex our human body is, for me it's magical, especially because I've always been working in IT, and for me it's like, and that's why, and that's the point where I started just getting deeper and deeper into neurology and psychology, and at the same time, and got to physics and mathematics, and at that point I got my faith in God back.
I'm back. I was here all along.
So in my case, I arrived there not by a spiritual calling, but through rationality or through rationale. And I'm still a little bit like, it doesn't make sense. Like,
of course, you're trying to infer on things. You're trying to ascertain what's going on. And again, just getting back to the nutrition side of thing, what you were saying just earlier, the best thing, actually, you reminded me of what I was going to say, because the best thing I ever discovered with my body, I actually even put it on the highest most podium, is intermittent fasting. When I discovered it and I did it, I had this whole reset, and my cognition, my clarity, the way in which I was moving, everything felt replenished. I felt like I had been rejuvenated, and of course it was through autophagy. So
autophagy is magical, because if you think about it, it's like running a bloody inventory, and the reason autophagy is correlated with cancer prevention and has another whole host of health benefits is because it is way more likely to, during that inventory check, I'm always going back to IT when I'm trying to imagine what goes on in the human body.
Compartmentalizing.
The cancerous cells, they're not really working that well. There's something different about them. So it's way more likely that during autophagy they get cut out. The other thing, about that is temporarily, when you are intermittent fasting, you do need to metabolize fat and get energy from fat, because there's only so much carbohydrate you can excrete.
Exactly.
And in a ketogenic state, especially with glucagon present, the brain, which is, I think, the biggest energy consumer in the human body, I haven't found studies yet to prove that, but a lot of anecdotes, a lot of reports. I experienced it myself. If I go on a ketogenic diet, and I usually I go really aggressive about it, so I start full carnivore, slowly introducing back certain vegetables to get really fast into that ketogenic adaptation. Then intermittent fasting. Yes, I can't lift that much weight, so my strength goes down a little bit. Less my endurance goes down a little bit, but my cognition, my God, I'm calmer than ever. My brain is like that, and so I haven't found any studies to prove that, and that drives me bananas, because I was researching, like, come on, I want to see it. I want to read the culprits. Where are they going wrong? What's going on here? But I haven't found any. But I'm yet to meet with anyone, even if they are vegetarian, because just because you're vegetarian doesn't mean that you can't construct a ketogenic diet. You can still do it. It's difficult. It's really, really
it's
complex,
more complex,
but you can do it.
But if you looked at I should going to interject there, because I was going to say, if you looked at the whole, when you were talking about cancer cells earlier, which was very interesting, they are carcinogens are fed through sugar. Sugar is the catalyst. So when Coca-Cola many years ago, I believe that there was a story going around that Coca-Cola had approached two nutritionists at a university. I think it was Harvard or something like this in America, and they said, "We'll pay you $50,000 each." And this was a lot of money back then. I can't think of the conversion. It was a lot of money to write a thesis or a paper on the importance of sugar in the diet versus fat. Fat's bad, sugar's good. That promulgated Coca-Cola. That's why they had 35 grams per can of sugar in Coca-Cola. They're one of the biggest killers in the world. I mean, it's insane. Their revenue that they get.
But they adapt really fast, because if you take a look at the sponsors behind the movie Game Changers and Fake Meat, you will find James Cameron and Coca-Cola. So it's fascinating. I'm terribly sorry, Patrick, but I have to go. But I would like to invite you back. I'm not sure what the audience will think about our basically free podcast.
We should do a mud bar fight or something. We could do naked wrestling or something. I don't know. It's just a thought.
I would rather not do that, but if you don't mind. But irrespective, I really enjoyed it, and I hope many other people did. So
it's a bit of this and a bit of that, isn't it? A bit of random.
If you're up for it, let's tee up a time and.
For sure, yeah, and maybe what we could do as well is have a multitude of different people in here. So we could have about 4 people in here in the future. It depends on what you want to do. It's your show, so I'm more than merry to come back in the near future.
Next time, because I've already recorded a presentation about neurotransmitters, because I have like an agenda I want to get to on different pillars of the framework I've created for self-help, just to simplify it. I would like to get to okay, we're going to cut the next one, and get to at least introducing the basics of nutrition, how the basics of neuroscience and transmitters, and the basic breakdown of human behavior, or at least one version of interpretation, not a Freudian one, because I just don't like it for practical reasons, not because I could challenge the theory or anything. It's just I don't think anyone who is suffering would have the time of 10 to 20 years to just do psychoanalysis, because it goes deep. It's the most comprehensive system,
Like
but
anything.
because of that, it takes an awful lot of time. Anyway,
It's like in the Matrix that you don't want to go too much down the rabbit hole, even though it's enticing. You go down there, you're staying down there. So I think to coalesce all of those things together, yeah, it's good. But some things, the realm of nutrition. It's funny enough that you were mentioning neuroscience, because my ex-girlfriend was a neuroscientist. I remember opening one of her books up, and I was just like, "What? What? I mean, it was literally like an alien."
I get excited about this stuff, so probably it triggers my dopamine receptors, and I'm like, and then I, like a maniac, even when I walk Jimmy, I start researching an audiobook. Okay, then I get back home, and I don't get tired, because once I enjoy learning something, I have to constrain myself, because I get obsessed about it.
Well, you know what? I was going to say, this timing has been perfect. I've got 1% battery left on this iPad. So it's been perfect. It's literally synchronized itself perfectly. But it's been
a
great,
pleasure.
For sure. Should we call it there? Because it's going to die. It's at 1%.
All right.
So, but we will be back, guys, for further futuristic talks and random.
And please just flood the comment fields about what you think about our discussion. Thanks a lot, Patrick.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure, and I would like to invite you back.
Thank you. For sure. I'll be back. I'll probably get rid of the beard next time, but yeah. Cheers.
It's up to you. Cheers.
It's too much. Bye.
The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done.